Test 3. Speaking. Part 1.
In this first part of the exam, I'd like to ask you some general questions about yourself. Are you currently studying at a school or college? Why are you taking the IELTS exam? What do you hope to do after you finish your studies? Let's talk about food. What kind of food do you like to eat? Can you cook? Are there any regional specialities in your country you would recommend to visitors?
Speaking. Part 2.
I'm going to give you a topic and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. Before you talk, you have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say. You can make some notes if you wish. Here is your topic.
Speaking. Part 3.
We've been talking about personal possessions. I'd like to discuss this subject with you with some more questions. Do our important possessions these days tend to be technology-based? What kind of possessions often have sentimental value? Does the advertising industry lead to us buying things we don't really need? How should parents deal with demands from their children for things they have seen advertised? Are we happier the more things we own? Is there anything you don't have that you would like to buy?
Speaking. Model answers. Test 3. Part 1.
In this first part of the exam, I'd like to ask you some general questions about yourself. Are you currently studying at a school or college?
Yes, I'm studying at a language school in town. I came at the beginning of the year on a short course and liked it so much, I booked myself onto another one.
Why are you taking the IELTS exam?
I needed to get into university. It's a general entry requirement for all overseas students, and I need to get 7. But I'm also doing an entrance test at the university as a backup, just in case IELTS doesn't go to plan.
What do you hope to do after you finish your studies?
I'm hoping to go into teaching. After I finish my degree, I want to do a postgraduate course so I can teach in high school. Ideally, I'd like to teach history. That's the subject I plan to study at university.
Let's talk about food. What kind of food do you like to eat?
I eat anything, really. But if I was going out somewhere for a special meal, I'd probably choose a Thai restaurant. I adore Thai food. It's very expensive in my country, but that's definitely my favorite cuisine.
Can you cook?
Yes, I enjoy cooking a lot. I only learned recently, after I left home to come here to study. I live in a shared flat, so I've had to learn how to cook. I'm not very good, but I enjoy it.
Are there any regional specialities in your country you would recommend to visitors?
The most famous food from my country is pasta, of course, and there are lots of different kinds. Most people know the famous dishes like cannelloni, spaghetti bolognese. I think I would recommend trying spaghetti alle vongole. It's a seafood pasta from Rome. It's delicious.
Test 3, Part 2.
I'm going to give you a topic and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. Before you talk, you have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say. You can make some notes if you wish. Here is your topic.
I'm afraid it's not very imaginative, but I think the most important possession I have is my phone. At least that's the thing I use most often each day. I'm not particularly attached to it. It's only a phone after all, and I'll probably change it for another one in time. But it's so practical. I think I'd be lost without it. How long have I had it? Well, I got it last year just before I came to England. My parents bought it for me as a going-away present. Also, I think because they wanted to make sure I kept in touch with them regularly. It's a smartphone, so I use it to text and speak with my mom and dad. But it's also a great way to keep up with the news. I don't bother buying newspapers because I can read everything online. In fact, that's the first thing I do when I wake up. I check to see if I have any messages, then read the main stories in the news. What else? I listen to music on it. I download podcasts from some of my favorite radio shows. Watch videos. Take lots and lots of photos. Then there's the sat-nav, which is really useful as well. The one in my car isn't very reliable. The sat-nav on the phone updates itself regularly, so it's very accurate. Yes, I use it all the time. I doubt if an hour passes without it being used for one thing or another. So, that's my most important possession.
Test 3, Part 3.
We've been talking about personal possessions. I'd like to discuss this subject with you with some more questions. Do our important possessions these days tend to be technology-based?
I think most young people want to have all the latest gadgets. Phones, PCs, laptops, games consoles. I don't know which of these people regard as their most important though. Maybe none of them.
What kind of possessions often have sentimental value?
Probably things that have been bought as a present by loved ones. And things like jewelry to celebrate a wedding or engagement. Family photographs and videos as well. These aren't worth money as such, but are really important memories of our past.
Does the advertising industry lead to us buying things we don't really need?
Definitely, yes. Especially with things like technology. We're always being told to upgrade our phone or computer when the one we have is perfectly okay. When you walk around big stores, there are shelves full of things that we don't really need, but end up buying. So, yes, I think it does.
How should parents deal with demands from their children for things they have seen advertised?
It must be very hard for parents. In my country, there are adverts all the time aimed at children, and they probably always want to have things their friends have. I think if I had children, I would just explain that they can't have everything they see. Otherwise, they can easily become spoilt.
Are we happier the more things we own?
Not really, no. We get excited about getting things we don't have. The trip to the shop to buy some new clothes is always enjoyable. But once you have the things, I don't think it makes us any happier, really. We just end up wanting something else.
Is there anything you don't have that you would like to buy?
I don't think so. I have everything I need. Maybe a new laptop, but I don't really need one. It's just the idea of having a shiny new one that's appealing. No, I don't need anything at the moment.